G'day, welcome back to another video. In this video we'll be finishing off this boomerang that I built in my last video. So we'll be trimming and painting the body, painting the little driver guy, and trimming and applying the decals. Let's get into it. Now I'm going to start with the driver figure. Snip all these bits off. Now what I like to do is glue it together. It has a screw to hold the head together as well, but I also cement the around the edges there, and yeah, it just stops it from moving around at all, and then you can go and smooth the edges up nicely and it all looks good. So I like to get these positioned, these pieces in there, so the normal flat rectangle type one goes in the bottom, and the one with the chamfer on the top, or the bevel, whatever you want to call it, that goes in the top. And then you get a bit of, if I can open it. Actually, I might even stick it on this side. Whoop. Just a little bit around the edge. Very hard to hold. It's a bit small. Alrighty, now we can stick them together. Little pins on either side line up. Very good. Just hold it for a couple of seconds. But it's not like an instant cement, of course, but I'd still like to hold it for a couple of seconds. And still holding it. Put our little 3x8 screw in the back. And tighten him up. You see it's opened up a little bit there at the top. When I tighten it up, it should close up pretty nice. Should, being the operative word. Give it a bit of a squeeze. Don't want to over tighten it, of course, but this one isn't lining up too smoothly, but we'll be right. We'll take these little spur bits off the end and give it a sand up, maybe even fill it with a bit of putty. We'll see how we go. Now it's not totally dry, but whatever, we'll just move on, because this isn't going to be an epic paint job by no stretch of the imagination. It's going to be pretty simple, although it's going to be box art, but yeah, pretty simple. So I've got a bit of 240 here, nothing flash, and I'll just give those little bits of trim. That'll do us. Yeah, just give them a little sand, pretty much just across the join there, right the way around. I mean, you might be lucky enough it'll look quite fine without using any putty. By the time you put a bit of primer and paint over it, it all smooths out pretty good. The other thing is, you don't have to be too excited about it, because on the boomerang he sits quite a way back in the, like the windows here, and he's sitting right at the back. So any gap on top you're not going to see because of the roll bar. So it just depends how much you know, how much you want to know it's right. Even though other people can't see it, you want to know it's right, or you don't. But to me that's looking pretty good. Needs a little bit more in that bit there where the padding is. Might even take that out with a knife. Yeah, it looks alright to me. And just give it a bit of a scratch up all around. Just give the primer something to stick to. Yeah, I think that's quite fine. Again, you can go as smooth as you want, you know, get it all looking nice. It's really up to you. Get a little bit more off that, well, that side there. Yep, I reckon that'll do us. Now, one thing I like to do to make life a bit easier, get a piece of 3mm threaded rod. Just cut it up to whatever size you like. Then you can just screw that in the bottom there. Takes a bit to get it started because it's never been used before. This head. You can even hold it with pliers to give a bit of a help. So yeah, just screw him in there like that. And you can use that for, you know, after you paint it, you can stick it into a hole in the top of a box or something to hold it there, or put in a vise or whatever you want, just for drying. And then it makes it a little bit easier to handle when you're painting, to get in around his face and all that. You don't have to maul his head, so to speak. Yeah, and the padding around the bottom, you know. Anyway, get yourself one of them. Sometimes you can just put a stick in there, like a skewer or something, but I find they don't always hold on too well. At least this way it's screwed in and it's not going anywhere. So in this case I'm using my little Mr. Jig soldering jig. So I can just stick him in there like that for drying or whatever. Anyway, now we'll get on to masking his face. So we're going to mask around the padded area and his face, of course, and around the padding at the bottom. So we'll use a bit of this 10mm Tamiya tape for around the bottom. And just kind of push it down so there's no excess flapping around, you know. And just kind of run your fingernail or something around the edge to get it into the crease properly there. So that's the bottom done. Now for his face, get a clean bit of tape. So I use the wider stuff. I think it's 20mm, just 3M stuff, or anything you find that's, you know, enough to cover his face there. So just stick that over, and same thing, just run around the edges. You could either use a very blunt toothpick or something around here. I'm just using my fingernail. Whoops, put a crease in it, so that's not that great. So you want to get him all right in the crease. Now you've got it all in there, so we get our knife and carefully run around the edge, the outer edge closest to the helmet. Alrighty, I think that's it. So now, if all goes well, we can just peel that off and it'll leave a mask inside. Now just go very slowly. If there's any bits you need to trim up, just do that, and, you know, rather than starting again. So there we go. You can go around and push the edges down with your fingernail. And that's it. So we're ready for primer. So because it's winter here, any bit of sun's helpful. So I've got the cans out in the sun to make them warm up. It'll spray a lot better. They tend to splatter when they're too cold. Anyway, I've got the primer there, and I've got some TS27 flat white there that I'll use for the driver's suit, and also got some TS15 blue that I'll use for the helmet. So it looks pretty much box art. So what I'm doing here is basically just going wet on wet. So put the primer on, wait a few minutes, let it tag off a bit, and then put the top coats on. So I'll start with the primer on the helmet, put that away, then we can do the primer on the body. I'm only doing one coat of primer on each one. So first top coat onto the helmet, and then we got the first coat of white going onto the body, and the second coat on the helmet. There we go, looking nice and shiny. It will dull off a lot though. And the second coat of white going onto the body. And there's our driver's helmet. It's not perfect, and you can still see the joins in the top there. That's alright. The side looks okay if you can get in the right light. But yeah, the roll bar goes across the top here anyway, so you don't see it. So what I'll do now is take the masking off carefully and then probably leave it for a day or two before I touch it, in case I'm putting my fingers all up around here on soft paint. That's pretty bad stuff. But what I will do is run the knife around the edge first, just in case. It's been about 2 hours since I painted it, but yeah, just in case. I don't want to go ripping the paint up. But just a very light score is all you need. You don't need to like hack right through it. And again, I'm struggling here because it's so far away from my bad eyes. Anyway, that'll do. We'll rip it up. And I just like to pull it away like that. And hopefully it won't take any paint with it. But if it does, it'll always be right on the front. There we go, a little bit crept under there, but we're all good. That'll all be black anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Now on here, I might just pinch it in the middle and pull it, see what happens. It might just tear. Yep. And there we go, try and pull it away. And that's our masking. Yeah, it's reasonable. So yeah, like I said, I'll let that dry for another day or two, and then I can hold it properly without it getting too badly messed up at all. And then we'll come in with the black. We'll do the flesh colour on the face, the eyes and stuff. I'm not going to be too fussed about them. They'll basically just be white with some black dots in the middle. Because I'm just doing it, you know, pretty much like box art. I'm not trying to make an oil painting out of it. Now starting on the driver's body, I'm using matte black paint here, Tamiya acrylic. And yeah, just carefully paint the belts on. Mine do turn out a little rough, but you know, you can spend as much time as you want doing this. That's our black on. A little bit dodgy. We can do touch-ups later, of course. And then you can come in with the silver and do the buckles. There we go. There's our silver buckles on our black belts. That's the driver body pretty much done. Do a little bit of belt inside the buckles, of course. Can't forget that. And there we go. Now we get onto the driver's face. And I'm not actually using flat flesh here. I'm using desert sand or something in a Tamiya acrylic. Because I didn't have the flesh in an acrylic. I only had enamel. But it looks alright. Looks like he's got a tan, or, you know. The other one, the flat flesh, I find a little bit too pink looking. I think this looks quite good. So anyway, come in with the white, do the padding up the side, just beside his face there, or his fire suit. And again, you can, you know, really take your time and have it looking really good, or you can just do what I'm doing here and just kind of do it quickly. So I'm just doing his eyes white there as well. And I'm having real issues seeing here because the camera's kind of in front of my face to the side a little bit. Anyway, come in with the black. And this is a semi-gloss black. Tamiya acrylic again. Now it's quite easy to go around the edges of the padding here. I just kind of have the brush quite full of paint, not so much that it's dripping, but quite full of paint, and just let it flow into the groove around the edge of his padding there. It looks acceptable, I think. And same thing with the bottom padding. Again, with the brush quite wet, get in there and just let it flow into the groove. And there you go. So we need some pupils, I should say. We're not going to worry about the iris too much because, again, he's so far back in the cockpit that you rarely even look at it. Just try and get him in the centre so it doesn't look like he's drunk or whatever. And I think that's quite fine. Needs a little bit of a touch up around the eyes, but I'm calling it good. So after a few touch-ups, there he is. I think that'll be quite acceptable. Now moving on to the body and wing. There's two ways you can cut it out. You can use a knife, or you can use the Lexan scissors or polycarbonate scissors, whatever. Yeah, or like I do, you can use a combination of both. So I think I'll start on the wing. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see these lines under the light, but we'll be right. Actually, try and get it where I can see it. Probably not the best for you though. As the viewer, you really like to see it up close. But yeah, I just like to go around and just kind of score it, you know, get your line straight, just score it, and then you can just bend it back and forth and it'll snap off. My eyes are failing. 1 minute. There we go, much better. Maybe I can do it down here so you can see better. Not too bad, not too good either. Probably should have moved the camera, bring it over this side or something. That little bit down there on the front of the wing is probably the hardest part, where it comes down the front there. So I sort of go across that a few times and cut it right through. Otherwise, when you rip it off, sometimes it gets a little bit hairy around there. Not bad, I think, not bad. Same thing with the other side. There we go, just run it down the front there. Try and get it in the corner. And we can cut across the front there. Sometimes you might still have to, you know, clean it up with a bit of sandpaper or something. And like everything, take your time. I'm kind of rushing here and doing everything in weird angles and stuff, so it's a little bit different. Now I'll go up the back corner here with the scissors, just so we can find somewhere to, you know, kind of start tearing it or snapping it. So then we can just give it a little wiggle back and forth if you need to. It should start tearing right along the corner. I'll actually take all the corners out. I think. Might be the best way. Maybe even give it a cut right there in the middle. There we go. Same thing with the other side. I think I'll just cut it up to the on each corner and the center of the side there. Just cut it up to the line. There we go. And I'll even give that a little snip right on the bottom. And up into those corners as well. And there we go. Hope you can see that. Need to trim a little bit off the bottom of that one. Obviously didn't cut it too well. But on the whole, it's pretty clean. I think it'll be alright. Might just clean that one up with the scissors, I think. Probably the easiest way. And a little bit of sandpaper. I reckon that'll do us. So we're going to do the body the same and we'll be ready for painting after we wash it. Now that the body's all trimmed up, we can go and wash it inside, wash the wing inside and out as well. And I just use some dishwashing liquid in some hot water. Get some bubbles on there. It's all very good. Full on bubble bath for the body. And I'm just using a paper towel to clean the inside of it there. Nothing too flash. And once you finish washing it, you can dry it all off with a paper towel. Dry it all off inside and out. And then we can get on to the masking of the windows. Now for our window masks, we've got the two side windows of course, and also the back window. And the back window is separated by that part of the roll bar of course, but that's a decal that we put on later. So, the easiest way I found to do this 20mm tape. It's almost a perfect fit for the window. So I'll stick that on the inside. Pretty good, not perfect. And what I'll do here, get me a little black pen. So I've got the tape there like that, but it can be a bit hard to see. So what I'll do is run the pen around the outside here, just where I'm going to cut. And there we go. So on the inside, we can see where we're cutting a little bit better. Hope you can see that. Push it on nicely, make sure there's no bubbles or whatever. And we'll rip the mask out. The edge of it. Whoops. And there we go, there's our window mask. So we'll just do that on this side as well, and the ones on the back. And there's our window masks all ready to go. So now we'll get outside with a bit of paint, throw some paint at it. So we'll head outside and get it painted up. And I'm using PS1, of course, Tamiya PS1. And yeah, I'll start on the wing. And I'll give the wing 3 coats and I'll give the body 3 coats. So with the wing, you really want to get the paint up in the edges of those wings there at the sides. So I kind of focus on that first. And then just go from there. Light coats. Same with the body. Do a light coat at first, let it dry, then do your next coat. And like here, I'll go back to the wing, do the next coat on that. For a total of 3 coats on each. And as you can see, I'm kind of fighting the wind here. So that's our body all done. Nice and shiny inside. And that's our wing. So I'll take the masks off. If I can find my tweezers. Get the window masks off. Well, I'm kind of light, it's not completely dry. You know, I only did it like 3-4 minutes ago. So I'm still trying to be very careful with it. So there it is without our window masks. Naturally the black where I drew on with the pen, that'll come off when I pull the film off it. So I might take the film off now, I think. If I can get it to start somewhere. Of course, wants to break into little pieces. Always had this idea of doing a nice epic unveiling when you take the film off, but it just never works. Okay, so there's our wing. Looking good. Oh, maybe we can do it. Not really. Yep, it never works. Okay, so there's our body. Well, my masking was really bad there. Jeez. Yeah, that's really bad. But I'll fix it, don't worry. Well, the decals that go around here should fix it anyway, the window netting, I hope. Other than that, we can use some Tamiya paint cleaner and the polycarb cleaner. And I might actually do that, clean that up right now. So there you go, get yourself some Tamiya polycarbonate body cleaner. Good for cleaning up around, you know, your masking bleeds under and all that kind of stuff. Works really well. So all you want to do is grab a cotton tip, dip it in there, and find the edge where it's not great. Might be a little bit too wet. You don't want it running all over the place. I hope you can see that. You can see it cleans it up nicely. Just like that. And a little bit down the front where the roll bar goes. Just run the cotton tip over, run the dry end over it to clean it up and make sure there's no cleaner left on the window there. Check the other side. Yeah, that needs a bit of going over too. The top part of the windows I didn't cut very well because the knife wants to slip off the edge of the window, if you know what I mean. Well, that's my excuse anyway. Even a little bit on the back window. Now you want to get onto this quickly. I mean, it works nice all the time, really. Like on paint that's been on there for a while, it still works okay, but it's much better for fresh paint. I mean, if the paint's been on there for quite some time, you'll be rubbing and rubbing forever, but it will come off. There we go. I think that's pretty acceptable. Yeah, I think that's quite fine. Now moving on to trimming out the decals. There's two ways you can do that. You can use your scissors, decal scissors, like that. But I prefer to do it using a knife. You can just get around a little bit neater. It's a bit closer to the decal usually. And yeah. And then you just, you don't use so much pressure that you push through it, right through it. You just cut the decal itself and try to leave the card mainly intact. And then you can just peel them off, stick them on. But yeah, that's the way I do it, so let's get into it. So I'll just go along around that long one that goes down the side. I'll just go around that to show you what to do, and then I'll go ahead and complete all the rest of them. It's a little time consuming and quite painstaking. But yeah, we'll do that and come back and apply the decals. Now before we get onto the body, there's one thing I forgot to mention it too. Don't forget to cut out those little bits at the front of the body so you can get it on the little things on top of the front gearbox. They do come pressed out, or kind of pre-clipped if you like, but you just got to snip the little bits out at the end. Alright, so I'm going to start off with the big ones, run them up the side and across the wing, and I've got a little bit of dishwashing liquid here. That always helps. You can take them off and try to give it a go, but they end up stretching if you got to take it off and on a few times. So a little bit of dishwashing liquid, like a bit of water, just like 5 drops dishwashing liquid. It's not a lot, it doesn't have to be like a bubble bath. And then you can either use a hairdryer, or I use the heat gun on a low setting. Yeah, you can just warm it up and lay it up over the edges there nicely, so it all forms in nicely. So I just peel the first one off here, and remember, be careful in case you haven't cut the decals properly. At least if it sort of stops at a point, you can snip it off or whatever you need to do. So I'll try and do this up this way, I guess. The bottom should line up nicely with the edge of the body there. And we need to be careful because it's not going to stick straight away. Just get that all pressed out there, make sure there's no air bubbles. And yeah, try and get it lined up with the edge of the body all the way around. Then we can bend it over the top of the body there and press it in up the side where that little raised area is right there. Now it's right here, you might want to heat it up a little bit just along there so it doesn't kind of crease as it goes up the side. Try and get it in a position where you can see it. Now it's up to you how straight you get this kind of bit here. It wants to really sit like that, which is a little bit cockeyed, but it's up to you. You can kind of twist the decal around a little bit That's why we use the water, so we can massage it around. Not perfect, but we'll heat it up and make sure it sticks. Doesn't need lots of heat. That's why I kind of point it at my arm first to make sure it's not boiling. I figure if it burns my skin off, then the sticker's not going to last long either. And heat it up a little bit at the back there. And I like to pull it right up over the edge and even fold it under at the bottom. You can come along later with a knife and trim that off if you like, but I usually just leave it like that. And there we go. So same thing with the other side. Up the side there. Now I like to pull this up, hold that up while you push it into this corner here. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you get less of a bubble, because they tend to lift right there. So the heat kind of helps with two things, you know. Helps dry out the decal, get the water out of it, and also makes it more flexible. And there we go. So now we need to basically hold the wing like this and get these other decals on and make sure they're in line. You can do that with it on the car. I just prefer to do the decals off the car. So I'll grab the other one, give it a drink of water. Yeah, that'll do. And you just want the lettering, you know, you want to get the lettering in the middle of the wing there, kind of centralized. Yeah, and I just put the wing beside the body there. Line up the edges of it, and we're looking good about there. Try and keep the angle the same. Actually, that's not good at all. I'm going to say about there. There, we can just push that down. Again, you can fold it under the back. And like I said before, you know, if you're worried about it having the decal underneath, you can just trim it on the edge. Make sure that's right. Yeah, it's pretty close. So we'll get the other one on. So I'll just whack this on here. Okay, so it's got to come in a bit. I think that's looking pretty good. Again, I'll fold that underneath. Same at the back. And there we go. Looks reasonably close. Now I'll just do this big one in the middle. There's the CVA shocks one. I'll put that in the middle. That's one where you're probably going to need the water as well. So I'll do that, and then I'll just whack them all on and sort of come back. Oh wow, I actually missed that one, cutting them out. So I'll do that right now. Don't know what I was thinking there, but I just totally missed that one. And I'm about 40% sure that I got the rest of them. Alrighty. There we go. Throw that in there. Now that's the front of the wing there. So CVA shocks needs to be down the bottom there. Something like that. Try and get it nice and straight. There we go, we're looking good. It's all pretty parallel. So I'm going to throw a bit of heat at that before I stick it down. There's a bubble right there that I'll push out first. So stickers like this, I like to go from the centre outwards and push the bubbles out to the edge. There we go, wrap him underneath. It's kind of got a funny edge at the front there, it curls under. So I'm using what's left of my chewed off fingernails to push that under there. Alright, make sure there's no bubbles up to the back. I'll give it a smidge more heat there. And again, we can go under with that. Just wipe that excess water off there. And there we go, there's our rear wing done. Well, not totally done, it needs a couple of stickers on the side. But yeah, now I'll just get all the rest of them done and come back and it'll be almost finished. Now if you've got a keen eye here, you'll notice I didn't really need to mask that roll bar at the back or the front pillars or part of the roll bar. Yeah, because I got the black decals to go over the top. I guess if those decals ever come off, you know, at least they're painted underneath. Albeit white. So of course, just take your time putting your decals on. I think I kind of rushed a little bit, just trying to get it done. But yeah, take your time. The best results will come out that way. Of course, use the water if you need to, just so you can slide the decals around before you stick them down. For the smaller decals, naturally just pick them up with tweezers, it's just easier. And don't forget the decals that go on the bumper. Now for the sticker on the wing, as you go and screw it onto the wing mount, you got to cut out the holes for the screws. You can just poke them through, but they sometimes might wrinkle up the sticker. So I just, yeah, kind of rub it around with my fingernail and find, you know, make a little indentation where the holes are. And grab your knife, stick it in there and just kind of go around in a circle and cut the sticker out. And there we go, it should look like that. So that's it, with the body on, got the wing on, got all the stickers on, it's finished. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. One side note there, if your wing's not in line with the body properly, you can just bend it. You might have to do it a few times, just give it a bend, the wing mount, you know. And it'll come up reasonably even. I haven't seen too many that are perfectly level with the body. But yeah, that's kind of how they sit. And there we go, there's the other side. Gotta love a boomerang, they're just simple and smooth looking, if you know what I mean. Uncomplicated. I really like the box art, so when I come to doing, I'm planning on doing a custom one, but yeah, it's still hard to sort of steer away from the box art. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do there, but it'll sort itself out. One other thing I would like to do, but I'll do the tyre lettering. I thought about doing the tyre lettering in this video, but yeah, I really wanted to just use this like a guide for beginners, you know, maybe first time builders. So without going modified or anything like that, you know what I mean. Maybe the tyre lettering will be my next video. It could be. Keep an eye out. So that's how he looks up close. All turned out pretty nice, I think. They're a really nice looking car, I think. Well, if you stuck around this long, congratulations. Hope you got something from the video. And yeah, see you on the next one.